Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The Bridge Street Garage Racing Team, the house racing team of the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Now, I have an extra robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight. We've got a live guest waiting in the wings. We're going to get to him in just a moment, but before we do, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to make a comment. Let me know where you're viewing this from, and let me know whether you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. Now, to our first-time viewers, thank you so much for coming by tonight to check us out. I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope that you will decide to join us each and every week, Thursday night, in this time slot. We simulcast to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this now, come on back this time next week and join in the fun. Also, to our regular viewers who are here week after week after week, you guys are what make this podcast possible. I thank you so very, very much for that. Let's take a few comments, and then we're going to get right in here and meet our guest. Let me get into the comments here. Okay, Alaska Railroad says, good evening, Mike and friends of the podcast. Corey Brock says, what's going on here? He's here to support his buddy Gary, and Gary is our guest tonight. We'll be meeting him in just a moment. This is a comment from Gary. He does the Mud Brats, Snow Brats YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Once the podcast is over, please go over and check him out. He does an amazing channel, and he's going to be showing us some clips and everything too. Roger Cormier says, hello from Winnipeg, Manitoba, regular viewer. Nice to see you. Corey Brock says he found the chat. Okay, yes, and they're communicating back and forth. Cool deal. Let's light this chat up. Absolutely. Love the music. Pro Polaris Bob says, hello, everyone. Corey Brock says, hell yeah. Hey, buddy. Now I'm going to continue to pop these on the screen while we're going, but let's not waste any more time here. Let's bring our guest on and say hello to our good friend Gary from the Mud Brats, Snow Brats podcast. Let me turn your mic on. I love the hat, by the way. Well, let me turn your other mic on. Let's try that again.
You got her going. Hey, can you hear me now? Awesome. Yes. Yeah, those guys in the chat, they're crazy, man. I don't know. I hope you get a bouncer to kick these guys out because it's going to get nuts. It's going to get nutso up in the house here. Pro Polaris Rob and Renegade X. Corey Brock's my bestie. We do a lot of riding together. You'll see him in videos on the channel. And, oh, yeah, we got Uncle Buck, too. We got some pictures from Uncle Buck we're going to share tonight. So, yeah, it's good. And I love seeing your viewers, too. So, this is going to be
there's a good mix in the house tonight. This is wonderful. The comments are lighting up like I've never seen them, and it's nice to have your people here and my people, and a chance for everyone to meet each other. And that, to me, is what this is all about: is the snowmobile community. This is just a place for us to hang out and have a good time. Now, tell me this, Gary. Tell us about your YouTube channel, what you're doing with your podcast activities.
Yeah, well, the YouTube channel started out as just a power sports channel, and the doing a little bit of ATVing, and then I always snowmobiled since I was a very young child, and we got back into snowmobiling. So it actually morphed from being ATVs into snowmobiles, and then it was a few years ago. I was mentioning off air, my business was trade show displays, and I used to do a lot in the power sports world as far as the snowmobile show and things like that. And when it went away with COVID, I thought, it'd be good to get some of my sponsors and supporters, I guess, more than sponsors, like Uclear and Bite Harder and companies like that, a chance to promote themselves or get exposure to people and people like Corey Brock, Uncle Buck, and Pro Polaris Rob and Renegade X. These guys you'd see at trade shows all the time, and I ran into these guys at the Peterborough show in the fall. And that's the thing. They didn't have any trade shows to go to. So I wanted an avenue where we could talk sleds every week and share what these guys are doing on a weekly basis. What do they got in their garage? Where are they riding? And send in your photos to fanphoto@mudbrats.com is the weekly thing. And that's the focal point around the show. So, and I didn't realize where it was going to go. And it's, I want to thank my supporters, my sponsors, Energy Power Sports in Oakville, BRP dealer in Oakville, a very strong backer of the channel. Fast Track Studs out of the US is another sponsor for the fan photos. And like I said, Uclear Digital has been really good to us. So I didn't realize where it was going to go. And then this year we ended up on Snowmobile television, for crying out loud. So it's
very cool.
And who knows where we're going to go in 2023. So stay tuned.
For sure. The future's wide open.
Yeah,
that is cool. So you're just winding down your second season with this, as I am.
Yeah, I've got one more show left for snow, and then I'm gonna do. I did some ATV and motorcycle shows in the summer last year, I've got one in the hopper for that, and that might be the only one I do all summer. But we'll see. It's I just got to say to the people watching that it's not an easy gig for someone like Mike to sit here every week in, week out. Setting this, he does it by himself. I have a co-host, Richard Hupp, and Mike does this all by himself. So he's the one, sitting on air trying to keep the chat going. And some guests are more chatty than others, obviously, right? And that's, I got to hand it to you, man. That's how you and I kind of got talking. Is I seen your podcast and went, man, this guy's doing the same thing I'm doing, but in a different world. My fans typically are newer sleds. But since you've come on, it's uncovered a whole host of vintage stuff. And we've got people from everything from, the RUP photos we're going to show tonight and Snowjet photos to, myself, I had a 69 Nordic, and, Corey Brock's got a Blair Morgan sitting in his garage. So yeah. It's kind of neat to see all this stuff come out of the woodwork, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you're correct. I mean, we're kindred spirits, almost on a parallel path, so to speak. We're both doing podcasts. We're both in our second season. We're both passionate about snowmobiles. And I like how you do a mix of modern and vintage. I'm exclusively vintage, but I think there's room for everyone. And it's just really cool to bump into someone like yourself who's on a very similar path.
Mine's not so much vintage to the point, like it's everything to do with snowmobiling, and we talked about that. And I'm
umbrella.
Yeah, I'm a skidoo guy through and through. I don't mix, mincemeat on that, but it's all about Polaris, Arctic Cat, Yamaha, vintage, new. It doesn't matter what you ride, who you ride with, I think is more important, right? As long as you have fun and enjoy it. And you'll see that in a lot of my videos. It's the ever-changing vistas of Mary Lake. Yeah, like that's that's from my videos as well. So I mean, it's good. And you can see that. Like I tried to do and I think you should do the same down south, is I tried to do a group ride at a beer spa, Canada's only beer spa. It might be one of the only ones in the world, the Muskoka Beer Spa. And Mother Nature pulled the plug on it. She gave us a rainy week and killed the trails. And, we had 7 cabins booked on that of 4 people. So it would have been a heck of a good time. So yeah, it's, make sure you hit the like button for Michael here. He's doing a heck of a job. This is a great thing he's got put together. Does it totally different than me, and you're going to see there's some classifieds coming up, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that too. We're not stepping on each other's toes in that respect. We're both doing different enough things that there's plenty of room for both of us. And then there's plenty of room for collaboration and learning from each other. It's just wonderful that we've stumbled onto each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now I know you've brought a lot of images and video clips to show people tonight. Are you set up that you can put some of that on the screen?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know what? I'm going to start with the fan photos that people have sent in over the last, since you've been on the show. And I got to say, like, I apologize for everybody last week or the last 2 weeks. I was supposed to be on 2 weeks ago, and I messed up that 2 weeks ago. I was late getting to the party, and basically we pulled the plug on it
last week.
And then last week I was all set to go and whatever. Uncle Buck says we got to find that silver bullet for me. So any of your fans out there in Canada, in Ontario, I'm not going far for this thing. I'm looking for a silver bullet. All right. I don't really care what it is, how it goes. So who is this one here from? It's from David Molden. He says, here's my 73 Snowjet and the old sleigh. It gets a lot of attention. It's unmolested original, and he's from Windham, Maine. So I've got probably 91% of my subscribers are US and viewers, and then you get it's actually 87, and it's almost 20% is from Canada. So it's amazing. Little Canadian boy has such a strong USA following.
Nice.
And they rib me on it too, because I mispronounce all the American cities like crazy, right?
Right.
So this is Uncle Buck. He's in the chat right now. Look at this gorgeous rup. He says, here's a link to my YouTube with a video of my rup. Oh, I didn't get that in there. And riding from Algonquin Snowmobile Club shelter back to the cottage in Oxton Lake. It's I don't know what year this is. If you want to post it in the chat, Uncle Buck, we'll let you let us know. But isn't that beautiful? I love the two-tone, how it's black and red.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really nice sled. So yeah, there's my rup, he says.
Yes.
What year is it, Uncle Buck? Let's get that going. Dominator, he said he ran into these sleds at a show a few years ago at Thunderbird's Bar in St. Germain, Wisconsin. It goes along with the discussion last week about rare, odd sleds. And,
I love that Panther.
So this is a Panther.
Now that's not a factory color. Is that an aftermarket paint job, or what's going on with that color?
It's orange. It looks red on your screen, but it's actually metal flake orange. So
that's beautiful.
And it's kind of neat. I love that seat. I think they should put that seat on new sleds. 2014, Uncle Buck says. It's a 1973 Nitro 400 Rup, that one that Uncle Buck has.
So yes, Armor and Buto had that correct. I don't know if
73.
is there a delay on what's
There,
popping on the screen or?
there usually is on the chat. No, there'll be a delay. So nice
Sure.
Rupster. I want a Magnum Alaskan Railroad says nice. So this is a Manta that Dominator stumbled upon. He said it actually had a gas pedal in it.
Wow.
Foot controls.
So foot operated throttle.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? And then, so this is a buddy of mine on a, so this is my very first sled ever when I was about, I don't know how old I would have been, maybe 12, 11, 12. And this isn't the sled, but this is it. It's a 72 Motoski Capri. We called it the Pleasure Craft. Mine was a 399 or 299 single cylinder with no compression release, and it had no recoil. This one in particular has a recoil on it that Dino, my buddy's driving around on. So you had to hand wind the rope and pull it to start it. And it was all I could do as a little kid to get it started. The problem with it was my brother, who actually helped me get it going. He's the one that turned me into the love of wrenching and working on these old sleds. I went out and started it with squirted gas in the carb, and you had to leave the back end up on the stand. And I started it up and I went in the house to change while it warmed up. And my brother seen it and thought it would be funny if he hopped on it and drove it away. Well, one of the things that would happen with it is the throttle would stick on it. So you had to actually get WD-40 and spray the cable before you rode it. So I hadn't done that yet. I went in the house to change and get the WD-40. He went out the other door, hopped on it, and away he went. And we live up on a cliff. You'll see the cliff in my video called Isolation on the on my YouTube channel, Mud Brats, Snow Brats. And the throttle stuck wide open, and he went up on this cliff and jumped off at the last minute. And the 72 Capri is way down at the bottom there in the picture. And what we did, he had a work truck, which was you can see it way down there. That's him standing to the right, like Bigfoot. This is straight up and down, by the way. It's completely vertical, and this is hooked on to you can see the dent in the snow right here. That's the cable that's hooked onto a 4x4 lifted Chevy with big mudders on it, pulling that thing back up the hill. And we see him getting closer to the top with a big smile on his face and the windshield all busted up on it, and away you go. But that was a fun sled. And I mean, it was a battle wagon. That made you a rider for sure. Right.
Yeah.
And then
now you have a story to tell the grandkids.
Exactly. And he and I always still laugh about it to this day. Right. So, and then this was his sled that he actually sold to me, and he bought this. I think he bought it brand new. If not, it was like a year old. And this was an 85 Motoski Mirage 368cc. And man, did I have fun on that. My buddies had Safaris, which was the same sled with a different hood, and away we go. But man, you had one on your channel, and I thought that really is what got my attention on your channel, is you had one of these in the thumbnail. So I'm a marketing guy, so I love this picture because it says Polaris had an ad that said, "Think of it as a bullet on skis." So I actually cut that out and taped it on one of my old photos. This is in the photo album that I would have done when I was, I don't know, 18 or 19, maybe years old. So that's me riding around. That is a DOT certified hat, by the way. So I'm all right. I wore helmets on the trail. It was just at a buddy's house that we were farting around. And then I bought this exciter off my neighbor, and it had, I don't know, maybe 900 kilometers on it. So 600 miles. On this thing when I bought it, and I paid $800 or $900 for it. And it did 80 miles an hour. It was a single carb 440. Yeah. And man, the rear end rode nice, but the front end, not so much. But
sure.
You can see the theme here with the black windshield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. So here, I got a question for your fans.
Yeah.
And even my
full
fans.
Screen. Go ahead.
So, and listen, we're going to make this a draw. Okay. And you can win. I don't care if you're Canada or US, a Snowmobile Sessions long sleeve t-shirt. Perfect for this time of year, right? Yeah, that's a sexy exciter. Dirk Siems has a matching one. So see this sled hanging from the tree? If you can tell me what kind of sled this is, and send me an email to fanphoto@mudbrats.com. I'll put it up in the chat, and let me know what sled you think this is. I don't care if it's even the right sled or not. I will do a draw from all entries. Here, I'm just a slow typer. Mudbrats.com.
Yeah, we've got some comments coming in here.
Okay,
too.
so here's the deal. Send me, you can say what it is now. I don't care if you say what it is now, but then send me an email at fanphoto@mudbrats.com. Put in it that you've seen this on Vintage Snowmobile Lovers podcast, and you have to be subscribed to both Vintage Lovers Snowmobile podcast and Mudbrats Snowbrats YouTube channel. I want you to be subscribed to both of those. And then what we'll do is I'll do a draw on Monday's snowmobile sessions for this shirt, and we'll get it out to you pronto. So, yeah, for sure. Alden Banks had an exciter like that new in 1980. Nice. Yeah, what a great machine. So, yeah, Uncle Buck says that looks like a boa ski. I think it might be an Evinrude. What do you think of that, Uncle Buck? But yeah, so anyone, you say it in the chat if you want. I don't care if we're right or wrong answer, but all the people that say Vintage Snowmobile Lovers in the fanphoto@mudbrats.com email, and also send me in some pictures if you want as well. I'll show them on air, but also be subscribed to both our channels, and we'll do the draw and get your shirt out. Maybe
there was a link in the description to your YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome.
It's a way for people to get over there.
Yeah, it's easy to find too. Not an Evinrude, maybe an Arians. Ooh, I never thought of that. So yeah. So anyway, keep going. I'm gonna actually search these up after the show. So that one in particular is hanging on the tree by the cottage.
So is there a story as to how that came to be hanging like that? Or?
No, but there's a story of why I seen it. It's on these little whoopee sections, and I tend to drive fairly fast. So when I'm with my buddies or my son, we always blast through this one spot. Well, I took my wife snowmobiling, and she only goes, 40, 50 kilometers an hour. So I was seeing everything. And we drove through this section that I probably flew past this thing thousands of times. And I seen this hanging from the tree. I go, whoa, Lisa, we got to go back. I got to get a picture of this. And yeah, it's what they say, wake up, you got to stop and smell the roses, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We always stop and see lookouts and stuff. And but that's something that was one of those treasures that I would have never seen had I not taken my wife snowmobiling.
Yeah, a quote unquote Kodak moment.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is just one of my favorite pictures that I took back in the day. So this would have been in that's probably an 89 or 90. I think that's a 90 or 91 Formula Plus. That would have been brand new that year. And it's just a trip with the buddies in college, and that's our sleds. You can see my orange motoski, the third last one there, and then my buddy Dino's Polaris Sport, and my buddy Day's Indy 400 at the very end there. No, the Indy 400 and then the Polaris Sports after it. So yeah, it's just one of my favorite pictures. Lots of snow, and it's just classic sleds. I call those classics. I know you guys are a little bit older, right?
Yeah, so, yeah. No, that's all good.
Yeah. So, but and then this is Dino on his my friend Dino. This is on his 1972 Olympic. So, or sorry, 1970 Olympic, I should say.
Yeah.
And he's ripping her up pretty good there.
Nice.
But he and I have a lot of fun. And then that's what got me. It was one of his friends that sold me my 69 Nordic. So yeah, so we can watch pictures of that too. But yeah, that's kind of cool. But so did I play my YouTube trailer?
No, why don't we do that in a few minutes we have left?
Okay, for sure.
I'm going to ask you to stay on past the half hour once we get into other parts of the show. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. By all means, please roll that trailer if you would.
Yeah, for sure. There's and
I'll put it full screen.
That family day picture is kind of cool. Video is kind of cool too. So, but here, this is a trailer in my channel to show you guys what it's all about. after the ad plays, of course, right?
Yeah, I'll put it full screen here.
Here, I can skip that.
Whoa, get out.
Bingo!
You okay? Absolutely not. Yeah, so
Very cool.
that's what my
That's nice.
channel's about. I got to update that. That's some old footage there, but yeah. So that was when I had my 2012 Renegade 800, and so now I've got a 2022 Renegade 850. So it's had a fun year. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So
Nice.
but
Now, I know this isn't vintage, but what is your impression of the 850?
oh, I love it. I love it. I've got the fancy gauge on it. The 7.8 inch panoramic gauge, and it's I wouldn't change a thing except the Gen 4s come out, so I went and ordered a Gen 4, so it's or Gen 5,
Nice.
sorry, 850
Sure,
with the 10.25 inch gauge. So
nice.
it's going to be really good. That 850 power is really intoxicating. Like it's
Comes on hard.
it's addictive, and you want to squeeze it. It's got these boost injectors that if you drive it normal, I mean, it's a young child could drive that sled and handle it at low RPM. But as soon as you get into that throttle and, you know, you're hitting 60, 70 miles an hour and you give her a boost, it hits the boost injectors and sprays more fuel in the carbs, and it goes, oh, so you're ready to play, are you? And the skis will float off the snow and away you go. And the gas gauge will go, oh, that's the wrong way. But no, it's really good. So, and I mean, it rides so nice, but I'm getting the Smart Shocks on the new one. So I can't wait to test that out. I rode Corey Brock's with Smart Shocks, and it's a game changer. It really is. For old guys like this, there's Corey Jinks. He was on my show last week. He's a Ski-Doo ambassador, and he loves the vintage world. He's got some nice old sleds there in his collection. So, it's like, that's the thing. It's that 850 is something else, and they just keep getting better. Ski-Doo just keeps raising the bar, and
they sure do.
Oh, and their accessories are great. The fit and finish is good, and I mean,
very refined.
Yeah. So
sure.
No, I'm really looking forward to that. Corey Jinks actually got to ride one actually on the weekend, an 850 Gen 5, a 2023 XRS, and says it's unbelievable.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, cool. So we're getting to half past the hour. We're going to have to shift gears here in just a moment and do the trivia question. We've got some announcements and some other things we're going to do, but I'm going to ask you to stick around and be a part of that if you don't mind hanging out for a little while.
I'd love to. Let's do it.
Wonderful. Well, good. Let's switch gears here. I'm going to rearrange the screens here. We're going to bring our good buddy Rob Hilditch on. How you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. So just to show people where we're on item number 2. And the announcements portion of the program also includes, of course, the Amsoil trivia question. So I'm going to get those slides ready for the trivia question, and we'll get right into it. By the way, here we go. These trivia questions are made possible by Rob the Oil Guy, Rob Hilditch. And if you'd like a free Amsoil catalog, just click the link in the description and we'll get one of those right out to you. And in the interest, of course, of full disclosure, I've signed up under Rob as an Amsoil dealer. So if you decide to buy Amsoil through us, you're supporting the podcast and Rob. And so if you like all of this, it's just a wonderful way to support what you're seeing here on this podcast. So let's turn the clock back a little bit and look at a previous question that we did. Go ahead, Rob.
What was the brand of racing snowmobiles used in the World Championship 1979 and 1980? What brand of snowmobiles did they drive?
Cool deal. And then we've got the answer for that. This was posted a couple of weeks ago, but this is the answer. And I know you were asking about an image of that, Rob, and I was able to find one.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to pop it on the screen here. Here we go.
Cowie made 10 of them, and there's 10 different drivers. Each driver had their own hood, and they raced 3 times. And so they didn't know what machine they were going to get. That way it was equal for everybody. And they had 3 races in the United States, and then they had the final over in Finland against the Finland racers.
Finland, wow.
And there was top racers in it, like Bob Donahue, Alan Decker, Chuck. I don't know if Chuck was in it. There was a lot of big racers that were racing these identical sled machines. Eagle River was one of the events they raced at.
Yeah.
They did it for 3 years.
3 years, nice.
Yeah. They're trying to compete with NASCAR. NASCAR used to have the Camaro Challenge Series where people from IndyCar, NASCAR, everybody were racing the same identical car.
Yeah,
that's what
nice.
they tried to do at the snowmobile race. And I thought it was a great idea.
Nice.
Beautiful sled.
We have Alaska Railroad saying hello to Rob.
How you doing?
Just going to pop a few comments coming in. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right. And then there's a bit of a delay as I'm clicking these. Hopefully it's not for you guys. It's just a bit of a delay for me here.
Now that machine you got showing right there was an M Decker. I don't know what Decker that was.
Here we go. Okay, now the comments are catching up. Hopefully there wasn't a delay for you guys, but there was for me. But I digress. But let's get into who the winners were for that Kawasaki trivia question. I'm going to be reaching out to them in the next day or two here to get their mailing addresses. We've got Richard Brazo and Armand Buteau. And
we'll get their hats sent off to them on Monday.
Yes, and then I'm going to put you full screen, Rob, so you can show them the kind of hat we're talking about.
Nice.
I don't know if you're able to tilt that.
Last week
there we
they
go.
were sold out, but hopefully they're back in this week.
Oh, I like the flames too. Flames and checkerboards.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I thought we got to win that Invader, the green one. What's going on? My fans are lined up. Corey Brock thought he was already making space in the garage for it.
I don't know. I don't
maybe
know
next week.
Any collector that has one of them yet. I've asked a few people if there's any in the museums.
Yeah.
I thought there might have been one down at Ironwood or at Eagle River in the museum, but there's not.
Yeah, you'd think, right? You think one of them would have survived. Maybe they didn't know. They're probably ridden hard and put away wet, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But without any further ado, we're going to get into tonight's question. And if whoever answers this question, the first 2 people who answer this question are going to be getting the hat that Rob's wearing, a hat like Rob's wearing. But yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Skidoo had Olympic TNT, Polaris had XLT, Colt, and Arctic Cat had Panther, Cheetah. What manufacturer had a machine called Mustang?
Uncle Buck's
got to use the name for a few years before they got in trouble from Ford.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What manufacturer had a machine that was called Mustang?
Cool deal. I'm going to pop some comments here and see if anyone's getting that. And I do see some comments coming in. Here we go.
Oh, Uncle Buck's going to guess it right. I know it. I have faith. He's
I'm
my
surprised.
vintage guy. Polaris had the
some
Mustang,
people
Uncle
know
Buck
the
said.
answer.
Polaris had an Uncle Buck says. Is that true?
Yeah.
Polaris, Corey Brock
we
says.
won't say.
Jeff Cobb, Alden Banks, everyone. See, Uncle Buck opened it up. He wins. You win, Uncle Buck. And get something for Mrs. Uncle Buck, will you? We got to. Mrs. Uncle Buck watches in the background. I'm sure he's there. Yeah.
So I think we're making things too easy for our viewers here with these trivia questions, but it's still an excellent question.
I thought that
But
was a
it's nice
tough
to see so
question
many people popping the answers
because
on
I've
the
only
screen.
seen one of them. I've only seen one.
I just have to say thank you,
Where
Rob.
I seen it? I seen it at the Peterborough Snowmobile Show.
Right on. Are you from Canada?
Yeah,
Rob the Oil Guy's in Canada? Awesome. Hey, listen.
I'm 30 minutes from Peterborough.
Thank you for dumbing it down for the Snowmobile Sessions fans, though.
And I'm still going snowmobile probably this Wednesday.
Are you? Right on.
Yeah.
You're going to go.
This weekend, we're at the International Motorcycle Show.
Yep. Go see Energy Power Sports. They're there with all their spiders and Can-Ams, and go buy one. You can do it.
Yeah. But the Halliburton 4th Street, the snow's still great up there.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And with your vintage machine, no trail permits, no nothing needed.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really good. I don't have a vintage machine, so maybe when I get that silver bullet tonight, that we'll get that lined up. Corey Jenks said,
I know where 3 silver bullets are. But the guy would not sell a single thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me.
No. There is people like that don't want to sell anything.
My friend Corey Jenks says he's got a line on another 69 Nordic for me. So he's gonna let me know. I'd take another one of those. It was pretty awesome. I miss it.
Was the Nordic the 20-inch track?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it was that wide. Yeah. I can't remember. I didn't own it long enough. I had it like almost a season. Well, I had a whole season, but I rode it almost a season, and I sold it. Yeah. So COVID was tough for me because I was in the trade show world. So when I had a ski boost and a sled sitting in the garage and my kids were eating craft dinner, I had to make a decision. So yeah.
Well, cool. It looks like just about everybody is saying Polaris with each. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
Have you met Larry the Enticer?
No, I haven't. I wanted him on my podcast, but I never. He never responded. So I've not met him.
Cool guy.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I think he'd be great. You should have him on the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers podcast.
We are. We're working on it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've been watching him since he's about 8 years old, dirt bike racing. And he used to race snowmobiles.
That's right. He's a good motocross racer, I heard.
Well, his younger brother's in the pro class, so he's wrenching for him now.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, do a twofold. He's got to come on my show and Michael's show. Mike's show. Okay. He's got two podcasts to do. Tell him I want him on Monday. Coming up. Make it happen. I need a guest.
I think he's still in Florida practicing.
I could get you on and Larry Enticer, and you could sell so much Amsoil, you wouldn't have enough hats to give out. Right?
The week after might be better.
Okay, I do another show.
The audio is breaking up. I can barely hear you guys.
I do a show the week after if he was going to come on it.
Okay.
Let's yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. Mine's a good podcast.
I do have to move forward with the podcast. We do have some announcements to make real quick, and then we're going to get on the other side of that and do some fun stuff. But so we're going to get into the announcements here. We're still on number 2, but I do have some sad news. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame Facebook group announced this week that the legendary racer from the state of Maine, David Picard, passed away on, I think it was March 18th, I think it was 17th or 18th. Let's take a quick look here, a closer look at what was written here. This was posted on the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame on the 19th. So yeah, it was the 18th that he passed. Claude Hebert, who is an inductee of the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame, says he received sad news today. David Picard passed away last night after fighting a courageous battle with cancer. David has been a best friend for the last 55 or so years, ever since I met him by accident in a snowmobile race in Maine. He was a young kid driving the great Bruce Dunham's sled. Dave raced with us at Rockwell on a motor ski, then to the big Timberland team in Lancaster, New Hampshire, and then later he worked with Claude at Kawasaki, which is a huge loss to Claude and his family. So our condolences go out to the family and friends of the great David Picard from the state of Maine. And then what else have we got here for announcements? Just a few quick announcements. Our good friend Josh Leverker sent me a message today wondering if I could share this on the podcast tonight. He's in need of some parts for his 73 EXT restoration, wondering if anyone has the pan/trim pieces for the 73, 74 LT Gray. He's got the part numbers there, and then we'll get a closer look at that sled.
Nice. You could shave in that tunnel.
What's that?
You could shave your beard in that tunnel.
Yes.
It's so shiny.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's that
And
seat. I love that seat on there. I think the new Arctic Cat should come with that seat. They'd sell a pile of them.
Yeah, sadly the audio is breaking up on me. I hope that's not the case. Can you guys hear each other and hear me okay? Okay, good. And hopefully the same for the audience. I don't mind sacrificing my own audio if everyone else can hear okay. But let's see. So the next item on the podcast, I'm going to skip these 2, 3, and 4 in the interest of time, because I've got some videos we're going to look at. And while you guys are here, I'm going to ask you guys to be the peanut gallery and make some positive comments for these videos we're looking at. So the first one is by Dirk Siems. He sent me some footage from a show he went to in Elk River not too long ago. Let me pull that up, and let's take a look at that footage.
Well, we're back here at the static show set up here at Elk River, and sleds are supposed to be registered by 11. So I think this is about what there's going to be. I thought there might actually be a few more, but there's a lot of sleds. But like I say, as it gets busy like this, it's almost impossible to get any video of the sleds because there's just too many people in front of the sleds. But this gives you some idea of the magnitude of the event here. It'd be interesting to know some statistics, how many are on the trail ride, how many showed up for the static judging here. And still kind of cool this morning, so I'm going to keep the video short here, but this gives you some idea. Here's all the John Deeres, like I say, of the feature sled for this event. Try to slow down here a little bit. Do one more pan around, and then I'm going to go in and warm my fingers up. Got one-cylinder leaf spring races starting again here shortly over on the racetrack. I'll probably catch a little of that and then load up my sleds and start for home. Had to jump back in here one more time. We obviously are into the modified class now. Little sleds are scooting right along. Not sure what speed they're getting, but they're really moving. To the starting line, we pulled over to the side here. A little bit of the blue haze going. They're going by and land. There's no jet for sale if you're interested. There again, the feature sled this year is John Deere, so you can see a lot of John Deeres. We're probably going to be in the middle of the pack here. I'll hang in here for a few more minutes. I don't want to be dragging up the end, but there's kind of bottleneck to the start line here. I see more smoke than snowmobiles moving. So, noisy guy coming on the other side of the wall here. All right, we're going to move on out again.
That's
well,
amazing.
Cool.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that's a massive show. More
Oh,
larger than anything I've seen here in the East, for sure.
We did one with 65 snowmobiles, and we had 20 of them get towed back.
Oh my goodness.
We went from a clubhouse to a bar, and then there was a luncheon put on, then we had to make it back.
Wow.
That's great.
I wonder how many of those made it back.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Hopefully they had someone there to tow.
Our total might have been 25 miles there and back. There's a lot of people didn't make it back.
Wow.
Yep.
Now,
Some of the guys' gas tanks weren't big enough, but
sure.
That was a huge turnout.
I took some screenshots of that because I wanted to pose questions to both of you as well as to the audience. What's going on with these? Was that a kit that John Deere was selling, or is this like a fabricator's brain?
One of a kind.
Yeah, I've seen this picture before with the lawnmower converted. I think that's clever. Oh yeah, you could easily make that, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's one individual people that made them. It's not.
That's pretty sweet. That other little one is really cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's those are just snowblower tracks on the back, right?
It looks like it.
Right.
Yep, right off of my Sears snowblower. I love that. Gives me an idea, actually.
Yeah, for sure. So we're pretty confident then that wasn't a kit from John Deere. That's something that someone just cooked up, a fabricator in their garage.
Some genius, Wile E. Coyote ordering from Acme. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm surprised John Deere didn't stay in the business because they had a big following.
Yeah, and they had the backing. They could have stayed if they had wanted to. They could have stayed in the game.
Every farmer I knew had a John Deere snowmobile. They wouldn't drive anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
They had the
It
brand.
didn't matter how many
loyalty.
times I had to tow my buddy home. He always bought another John Deere.
Yeah, and they had the dealership network set up and everything.
Yeah,
all across rural America and Canada.
Yeah,
it is ironic that they
look at Merck.
Yeah,
you know, there's some current snowmobile manufacturers today that aren't making any changes. That I won't mention any names.
Yeah.
That John Deere could just launch that sled again. They could sell a pile of them.
Yeah,
you know.
You never know, they might pop back in after all.
Well, they got back in. They're in the ATV, so it'd be very easy to switch into snowmobiles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and it gives them a summer product and a winter product, and yeah, for sure.
And like you said, farmers would buy them up.
Sure. Now, a couple of weeks ago, someone was asking about Massey Ferguson snowmobiles, and I promised them that on the next podcast I would come back with a video. And this is a video that I took several years ago at a Vintage Snowmobile show in Vermont. Let's take a look. This is a stock Massey Ferguson ski whiz, and then one he did a resto mod on with an extended tunnel and a mountain track, mountain skis, the whole experience. Let's take a look.
I'm Matt Trask from Corinth, Vermont. We've got a 71 ski whiz. Both of them are 71s actually. The other one over here is original motor, original sled. This one's my mod sled, my powder ski whiz. You want to come take a look at it? I put a 136-inch track with a slide suspension under there. Made the powder dump out running boards.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I've got modern plastic skis that I made brackets for the leaf springs. So got some powder skis on there that actually turn and carbide scag.
Good flotation.
Under the hood, on this one we've got a 488 fan stuffed in there with kind of a gnarly homemade exhaust, but it goes pretty good.
And did you extend the tunnel too?
Just a little bit, yeah. This was a pretty long sled to begin with, and it had the gas tank back here originally, but I wanted a compartment to put snowshoes or whatever out in the woods. So I made this gas tank for the front. I cut out the console and put that gas tank in there.
Yeah, nice.
So this one, originally it was like this. The tank was in the back. This one's all the original setup. It has a JLO 340 in it. The only real modification I did to this one was put a just more reliable clutch on there. And I switched it to a Mikuni carburetor instead of the Tillotson, which I had to make a bracket for that because the Tillotson on this one went straight up and down, and the Mikunis won't run on that much of an angle.
Yeah.
But that really just made it much more reliable. Anyone that's had a Tillotson knows about playing with those things.
Sure.
So So yeah, that's about it with these guys.
Nice.
They're fun.
Nice. That's wonderful. They start and run real good and
Yeah,
everything?
they do.
Nice. You wouldn't fire it up by any chance?
Yeah, we'll fire it up. Well, I say that, we'll start.
Of course.
Anyone that's vintage sled knows the deal with that.
Absolutely. And anytime you video people watching, you know, it's going to jinx you. Nice, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. You want to hear this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
This one's a little louder.
All right. It's been modded, right?
Well, it's not the original motor.
Sure. Nice.
It runs.
I like the sound of that. You can tell it's tuned.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sounded angry.
Yes.
Now, little known fact that J-Lo, you know, she was making engines, and she used to sing on the line when she make an engine, and that's where the agent heard her. And he said, you know what, you got to stop making engines. We're going to make you a singing star. And the rest was history.
Yeah. It changed everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
What year
Nice.
was that J-Lo went from making engines to music stardom? You tell me.
That's a good question. Yeah.
No.
Because she's in her 50s, though, isn't she? She still looks good.
Yeah, there you go. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. She stopped riding snowmobiles and her bum got big. So
That's it. Yeah.
I don't make this stuff up, Rob.
I'm telling you.
I don't make it up.
Working on the production line on her feet all day kept her fit, you know.
Yes, and singing and, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
She had to sing above the din of the machinery, and that kept her voice strong. And yeah, it's not easy, you know, being
No.
J-Lo.
No, it isn't.
I'm telling you. So let's get back to the and I want, before we switch gears, it was Kevin Loather. I'm looking at my notes here. It was Kevin Loather that was asking about the Massey Ferguson. So hopefully he's watching tonight to be able to enjoy that. So let's get back to our menu here. We've got one more video clip to show. This was from last year at the Island Pond, Vermont Vintage Snowmobile Show. This was their first time doing it, and you'll notice they had an absolutely incredible turnout. Not an Elk River turnout, but for Northern Vermont, Northern New Hampshire turnout, it was really well done. Now it takes me a second to pull this up, and it should start here in just a moment.
Oh, Roberto, this is in Island Pond, Vermont. Frijola Tierra. Tell me if I butchered that, Roberto. I hope I got that right. I love these early 70s TNTs with this color scheme. 440 free air.
Beautiful. Yamaha GP, I love that.
Now this Panther belongs to Steve Dickinson. He's here, and he's going to talk them up at some point during the day. And he was telling me about this sled that he got with this crazy print, this leopard skin print. And if you've got a cat, you've got to have the purple power loop. It's a crime not to. This is also Steve Dickinson's sled. He's from Berlin, New Hampshire. He is a cat collector extraordinaire. If you like cat, this is the guy, man. He finds them rare and original. And this might be Paul Belfay's sled. Steve was telling me that Paul bought an SRV. Let's take a look here and see if this is Paul Belfay's sled. 1985, only 250 miles on this sled. Paul Belfay also has an impressive collection. and I spoke with him earlier, and he's agreed to talk up his sleds. So at some point we'll circle back here and talk these up. Is this Paul's too? This is not. Alan Pike.
That's a nice turnout today, didn't it?
This is amazing. Is that Steve Bushway under there?
That is.
Hey, do you mind if I put you on camera?
I don't care.
Hey, Steve. How you doing, man? We've got 109 people watching live on Facebook.
There you go.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, good to see
Did
you.
you bring some Yamahas today?
I did. I brought my little one.
Nice. You want to talk it up?
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, this is amazing. This is a hell of a turnout for a first show. This is amazing.
And neat stuff.
Yes. Really good mix of different kinds of sleds. And
Some of the stuff you wouldn't even, I haven't seen before.
yeah, same here. Like that little Quebec.
Well,
I think I've heard of those, but I've never seen one.
That's Steve Beckett. Yeah,
Steve Beckett?
yeah, it's him. And he's just got stuff.
Sure.
He goes to Canada and gets stuff.
Oh, the old rare stuff out of
Yeah,
Quebec?
that's what he gets.
Nice.
He knows his stuff. He does that.
That's cool. Are those three sleds his? The Dolphin
Yeah.
and the Speedway?
Yeah.
Nice. Any King Cats? I have not seen one yet, but I've not seen everything. Hey there, Merle and Joseph. Hey, how's it going, Brad?
How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you, man. Let's give you a fist bump. Give you a fist bump. There we go.
handshake.
There we go. Oh, yeah, COVID handshake. You got any sleds here today?
420 free head screw.
Oh, nice. We're live with 98 people watching. Do you want to talk it up? No? Okay. That's a sweet example, though. The free air.
I didn't know. I thought they all had them. What's their last name again?
That might be a 69 Panther. Let's take a look here. 69, Joey LaCure. Cool. I thought I recognized him from earlier. Okay, I saw a guy that looked familiar to me earlier, and that was him. Now that I...
Used to be a rep for Arctic Cat back in the 70s, and they used to go around setting up all the dealerships. So I talked to him once in a while.
So these are Mark and Luke Bristol who brought these sleds. They've been on the podcast before. What do we got coming through here?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the windshield on that.
definitely. Let me take that off the screen. There we go.
That thing can only drive through the driveway, couldn't it? Can't go through snow.
No, probably not. It'd probably get stuck.
But I do like that snow jet.
Yeah, for sure. And a really impressive turnout for a first-time show, as far as by Northern Vermont and New Hampshire standards. That was a really nice turnout.
There's a lot of people who've got vintage snowmobiles sitting in their back garage.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing you probably picked up on is in all the shows in Northern Vermont and Northern New Hampshire, a lot of the same people show up, so we all know each other. And hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But yeah, good time. So yeah, we're up against the top of the hour, guys. This really flew by, but I thank you both so much for coming on tonight. Just a really good time.
Thank you for having us, and thank you all the Mud Brats, Snow Brats, and Snowmobile Sessions fans that popped in tonight and
Yeah,
took
those guys
over
are
the
in the
chat.
house.
We
sure.
commanded it. Look at them all out there. And Mark Poe, come on late. He wants to get back into it. Yeah.
A lot of people on tonight, and hopefully my audience, our friends here at the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers podcast, can return the favor and show up Monday night on Gary's podcast and blow up his text, his messages.
Right on.
Yeah, so by all means, click the link in the description and look for him on Monday night. So I'll give you each a final word. And Gary, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, thank you for having me, Mike. And anyone wants to get in touch, you can find me on Mudbrats Snow Brats on YouTube, and on Instagram, Mudbrats_Snowbrats is a great place to keep up with me and my shenanigans. So thank you. It was good meeting you, Rob, another Canadian, eh?
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I run over to your booth at the Peterborough Slutterama this fall and get some of that
been
oil.
there for 20 years.
Get some of that good stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Great show again, Mike.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead, Rob.
2 more weeks of shows going, or 1, Mike?
Next week will be the final.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we'll be on hiatus for the summer, but this time slot we'll always have something. We do reruns through the summer months, and we pick it up again live in October. So if you like what you're seeing, there'll always be something in this time slot all through the year. We've never missed one yet.
Good.
And then, let's take a few comments before we close out the show because they're coming in hot and heavy here. Jeff Kolb says, great show. Thank you so much. Corey Brock, thank you for the compliment. Uncle Killbuck loves the vintage sleds. Cool deal. Pro Polaris Rob, thanks, guys, and good night. John Spranger Jr., another great show. Thank you so much. Renegade X, great show. Alaska Railroad, thank you for the show. Rick and Katrina Dumont, thanks. And Mark Woe says, sorry he missed it. Well, that's all right. Just once it's done, hit replay, and you'll be able to experience the whole thing. But yeah, thank you so much. Oh, and then my good friend Mark Gosso. In fact, Mark just sent me some magazines. I think there's some vintage snowmobile magazines from the 70s that are going to arrive here any day. And I thank him so much for that. Stacy and Art Fosler, what is? Oh yes, good chat. Good. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to be doing a muscle car podcast through the summer months. There's a link to my YouTube channel. Nice. Where you can find a link to that. And if you're on my YouTube channel, the Wheels, Keels, and Snowmobiles YouTube channel, you get everything I do, the snowmobile stuff, the muscle car stuff, and everything in between. That way you won't miss any of it.
It's just like planes, trains, and automobiles, except when Mike gets up, he doesn't have his hand between 2 pillows.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. May the force be with you.
I like that one.
Ryan. Cool deal. Well, this is a great time, guys. Thank you so much. This was a really fun episode. And with that, we'll give the last word to our friends at Amsoil. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. We'll catch you on the other side.
Have a good night, Mike.
Thank you.